what it means when you're a traumatised human, adult age, behaving like a wounded, traumatised child, getting triggered from lovers on your own like childhood trauma, or you're just traumatised. If you get psychologically or emotionally abused as a child, there's a part of you that remains a child, like an eternal child, and stays a child, maybe until it gets healed, but sometimes there isn't healing. A lot of the times people are not healing in their lives, so if you're like this, choose the path of misery victim, blaming everyone else for your trauma. If you're in love relationships, it's like you're repeating your childhood again. So, amazing people, good-natured, kind-hearted people. There's another pathway where you can actually have a silver lining to that, or make lemonade out of it. There's a kind of childlike innocence and imagination, free-spiritedness to these people. It's like an inner child. There are positives about this trauma child. I believe it helps adults see the world with real eyes, because children see the world with fresh eyes. When you see the world through fresh eyes as if you're a child, your whole entire life, that makes you deep. You're living life on the raw, like to the bone, like out and open, honestly, just experience absorbing, trusting others, bit naive, bit vulnerable, doesn't really think things through like an adult. There's lots of pitfalls about it. A harmful life for these people, these eternal traumatized children people. But they can still look at clouds and see shapes, faces. They can talk to a child like a normal human, not like inferior and dominating them, which is how I see children getting spoken to by adults. And you have an imagination and a creativity that is quite special. And I even believed at one stage that like the more traumatized you are, the more access you have to your sort of magic, as in like the spirit kind of world, realm, dimension. More likely to be if you are. Imagine living life like that, and imagine these people can't cope with paying bills or cooking regular dinners or making it to appointments. They can't adult. They can't keep on top of their lives and just manage their lives like everybody else, and everyone else around them is like, why can't they just... This person is a 15-year-old in a fucking 45-year-old's body. The first time around my parenting, the first couple of few years, I was like literally living in a kind of like guilt dimension, because I wasn't enjoying it as much. I was finding it really hard, not coping, like big shock, like a teenager having a baby. It's just like, what the fuck? Oh my god, I can't sleep. Why is this shock going? But because like society doesn't really like accept this kind of like darkness, they kind of have to pretend that they're not that way, and like they're happy with being a mother, because that's what society's like program is like, you be happy when you have kids and like have it all, and she's happy new mother and all.
Fast forward to the present time.
I live life vulnerable, being brave, not ashamed of myself. Be the one in the room to say the awkward thing that needs to be addressed that no one wants to talk about and everyone wants to avoid, but you just like bring it up.
Like how a child would.
Or you're just a bit like loud spoken. Because if you're like living as a kid, as an adult, you're in a world full of traumatized adults. Traumatizing them more. They just keep getting traumatized. And every time I get traumatized, you can go down the depths, and like the ego just dies, because it's like a huge crisis. Ego goes away for a while, and you get in touch with higher self, real self, true destiny, path. you become a superhero to cope with all the shit and stress in your life because you're just like, fuck, I can't handle much more of this. I just want to rebel against it. You interpret your dreams better, you just be more in touch with people better. Like, this is what happens to these traumatized people. This is an enriching, traumatizing life, full of extreme ups and downs, like action film. This world, I've learned, it's not safe for children, this world. Like real, like actual young children and traumatized adult children. Vulnerability risk. They probably get labelled bipolar schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, blah blah blah, putting in the labels and all the different flavours of fucked upness. I won't go there in this film content, but the program is we get traumatized, we stay down, we stay infantilized, we stay enabled by this society framework that we're living in. So you stay easier to manipulate and put fear and dominate to, and drip feed you if it's in some way, shape or form. You know what I mean? But there are some children, traumatized adult children, brave, courageous heroes. They just forgot for a while. But you remember in a world that scares the fucking shit out of you. And so it should. And no one warned you or prepared you for it when you were a kid, sold you lies about what you need to do when you get older and what you do with life. Completely off track. Limit your options, you know? It's like make you a little entitled and enabled and like... We're just like cogs in a machine now, money making peoples.
Learning to us irresponsibly.
Design the system in such a way to make it like this. I know this. I'm thinking a lot of people know this too. So harness the magical abilities of the traumatized adult quickly, and start loving and caring about yourself enough to fix your life up and put boundaries in place, and use discernment and protect yourself. And know that you're at risk. Children are closer to spirit, God, heaven, afterlife world, ancestor world. They're closest to that than us. They just come from that not long ago. They're innocent, pure souls.
Pure consciousness.
Warm-hearted, generous, trusting traits. Sincerity. Emotional. Easily triggered. I think we're not really digesting pain in the most efficient way. Because my pain forced me to have a look seriously at my life and think to myself, oh my god, I've done years and years and years of self-help, therapy-based living
For the past however many years. To get myself better because I knew I was fucked up. And I put in a lot of work and a lot of effort. And I learned it wasn't all just me. There were other people involved.
that played a part in being responsible for how I came to be because of this kind of trauma.
Just from others, like hurting my feelings and stuff. So I turned it around. Now I want to get justice and retribution for myself. So I don't feel like a victim. I've turned it around and I'm like a survivor now. And I just keep fighting and I refuse to take shit from people.
Life is a struggle and a fight.
I think every day we need to choose something to fight for. A reason to be here.
Like, what is it about you that out of our planet full of billions of people, what have you got to bring to the table? What do you got on offer? What do you contribute to this? Do you want to contribute to this? Do you want to destroy this? I've gone both ways. I'm creative and destructive. So I've learned how to like use that trauma, childhood trauma that keeps getting triggered as you get older and older, and turned it into like something kind of, and it's like tragically beautiful.
creative, imaginative, childlike, honest, true. These people look younger than what they actually are too. You'll know these people. These people are like in their 50s or 40s or whatever, and they look fucking young. You can even learn through a psychosis. Like you can, like if you got a mind that you know what the fuck is reality, you can handle a fucking psychosis. You can. I can. I've had to. And you can actually find like clarity and wisdom benefits afterwards from a psychosis. When your mind cracks and fractures open, and it's open to a whole other like world of wisdom and wonder and magic. Yeah, it's true. It exists. You step into this world. It's helpful to know things about yourself, such as childhood trauma as being kind of like your deepest wound, and every relationship is just like a fucking family drama, again and again and again, and learn about yourself through relationships and through relationship breakdowns, or you just are like married your father and fucking don't leave and stay unhappy in a marriage your whole life. Sometimes it's bad when these traumatized adults have their own kids, but not always. It can be beautiful. When you're like parenting kids and you still are a kid, it's quite a cool like connection you have with your kids, really, because like you're on the level. The learning stage level. With learning. It's good to know how you can learn from trauma when you step into this world, when your mind gets fractured from the trauma and pain you keep incurring in life. It takes you to that place where you see and view like the unseen world, like esoteric world, and to not get too lost and the visions and the prophecies and the alignments and synchronicities in your reality. You can lose touch with the reality, okay? If you keep head on straight and know yourself and know what the fuck reality actually is, you can maintain a sense of like stoicness when you're under attack from the paranoid thoughts and delusions. I don't hear things or see things. I just feel things at an instinct level, and I know things. And I'll just be like, yeah, oh yeah, and I know it. It's called gnosis. Get downloads, yes. Basically, it's a communication line. You have to acknowledge your ancestors, though. There's not a lot of people in modern culture are doing. Changing the values. People don't value that. They're programmed to do what the new values are. Marriage, kids, car insurance, house insurance, fucking alcohol problem, and life insurance policy, and childcare fees, yeah, and tutoring fees because you're like traumatized. Kids also traumatized. Families are traumatized. I don't know one family who isn't traumatized. Like, problem is all living in the times where we just put that to the side and just pretend it doesn't exist and keep moving forward and moving on and being productive and getting work and fucking keeping on top of your bills, blah blah blah, and your repayments and blah blah blah. I have a meaningful existence. Scary, dramatic, intense, full on. I've noticed. So I choose to make lemonade out of the trauma. And just accept myself on like a really deep level. I hold myself in high regard more than I do people, unless it's certain few, handful. Yeah, you can be a victim to the pain, or you can be a master of your pain. Master your pain, get on top of it, man. Face it, deal with it, be brave.
realise who was accountable and to blame. Really, like, realistically. And sometimes wonder if maybe you've just been, like, self-blaming all this time, and you just, like, realise, fuck, you're actually alright. You've fucking probably turned out to be one of the decent ones. And maybe it's they're the ones that fucked you over. And it's okay to be fucking angry about that and want to get justice for yourself. We're limited, and we can't just go around with axes chopping cunts' heads off.
This isn't medieval pagan Western Europe,
where, you kill a guy. If it, an people tried to kill you. People get murderous. People get angry.
it's in our biological makeup to lose our shit and rage. It's a scary place, the psychosis. And these days,
They label it ice rage. I just like to call rage, like, rage existed in that person. And now it's coming out.
find a safe place to rage where no one's going to get hurt. Because this rage is a sleeping monster inside you awakened.
We've been silently raging for a long, long time, like centuries and centuries and centuries. We have, our ancestors did. We do.
We get taught very young to not rage.
We've been stolen, taken, displaced, moved. We've been fucking enabled and oppressed, infantilized. Stupid rules of laws that,
On the superficial level, look like they're designed to keep us all safe. Which is true, but I think on a more deeper level, they're designed to oppress us in our rage.
and telling you what the program is and telling you what to care about and what to value and what you need to love and what you should hate and what you should buy and what you should do if you want to get this. That is fucked up.
So recognise if you're a traumatised child living in an adult's body. Recognise if you've got unprocessed rage. Recognise if you're easy to manipulate because you're still innocent. And harness the magic in that. Be careful.